Makwidiri. Now, to a story unfolding right here on our doorstep, again here in South Africa. Last night, as much of the country tucked in from the cold, a group of brave South African activists stood their ground at Durban Harbour. It was really cold. And it was very, very important that they were there. And they were there because of one reason: to try and stop what they believe is a ship carrying weapons destined for apartheid Israel. The vessel in question is named Ultramarine and is suspected of transporting military goods in violation of South Africa's moral and legal stance on Israel's assault on Gaza. A stance that includes the genocide case against Israel at the ICJ and South Africa's calls for global arms embargo. Protesters are now calling on the government to inspect the ship, block the cargo, and live up to its obligations under international law, not just in the courtroom, but in the real world, where complicity can hide behind bureaucracy. And to give us an on-the-ground perspective, we're now joined by Saydoon Sayed. She's the member of the KZN Palestine Solidarity Forum, who was part of last night's direct action. Saydoon, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and really appreciate you giving us your time this morning.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having us on show. Please excuse Durban is winter, and you have seen from the flags flying, we really caught some flu, voice, leaking nose and other things. But as activists, that doesn't hamper our being out anywhere, anytime, for freedom of the people of Palestine. And as you have mentioned, that the whole of South Africa, and especially the activists, will come out at any time to demonstrate, to protest, and to take action.
And I would like you to just take us, and the listeners to that moment last night. If you can just give us insight on what the atmosphere was like and what exactly the protest action involved. What steps did you guys have to take as this vessel, the Ultramarine, was docking at Durban Harbour?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The important thing is that South Africa, from all 9 provinces, have rallied to support us in Durban on taking action on the beach, the harbour. And so within a span of about 3 hours, we had to put together some action as to how we would engage and be part of blocking the boat. And so the support from our colleagues from other provinces was overwhelming, and it was so good that South Africa took this together, and we in Durban decided to go to the harbour and to protest. But what has happened is, because of our involvement in getting other stakeholders involved, government, police, Transnet, harbour authorities, unions, and the activists, we were able to be at the harbour, and the ship has anchored in Amdoloti on the north coast of KZN. And that is in accordance with the requirements for them to get into the harbour. But the harbour at that time was very busy, and we believe that 1 or 2 ships need to come out before they can come in and dock. But to our activism and laying a charge, the ship has been at the same anchorage point from around 4 o'clock, where we were given a notice that it will be at our harbour, and we've been there from long before that to just monitor the situation and see what was happening. In the meantime, we also were monitoring the ship, and we saw where it was, and the overwhelming response to creating a group to bring in activists who can lend a helping hand, adding meaning to this protest. And so people monitored, and we got on and monitored the ship. And we decided, due to it not coming into the harbor, we will protest. And we were out in the cold until plus minus 11:30 last night. And that was the scheduled time, according to many of the posters that you may have seen. Durban and our Palestine Solidarity Forum and the South African Palestine movement are activists that are not seasonal. At the click of the finger in our decades of activism for Palestine and other related incidents, we were on the spot letting the world know that this ship should not enter our waters. And remember, the ship is in international waters, but in South Africa. So we have laid a legal charge against them. We had our comrades who are not in the videos and the photos that you are showing. They've been at SAP's office doing the legal work that needs to be done. So we are told that this morning, SAPS is going to do an inspection of the ship and check on what the weapons they have, where it is destined to, why it has come this far. And also there's a major challenge that around 2:00 yesterday, we were alerted to a big campaign that, could have been blocked before Durban. But what we've also done is we are monitoring. We have people out at the harbor at the moment, just seeing to how the ship never gets into the Durban harbor. So legal action have been taken. We have engaged with government. We're waiting to see what actions we can do. It's just that many of us have to report to our day-to-day work, and so we are engaging with people to see what action we can take in a short time. So the planning group is working to see how we can engage and be part of not letting the ship into a harbor. And I hope that this will happen, that we need to break Israel's financial, their movement, and it is time now, in 22 months of the genocide, we need to stop the ship. But what we have also done, whichever way the ship moves from Durban, north or west, we have alerted our colleagues in Cape Town and in Maputo, Mozambique, to be more alert than we were in Durban, and to see that this ship does not dock or get into any harbor in Africa before it moves to its destination.
And I think that's very, very important. The next steps that are going to be taken from here. You mentioned that you've interacted with authorities, whether it's the South African Police Services, it's those that are in government. How was the response? How was their communication? Were they open to talk to you? Were they keen to make sure that your demands are met, as it is in line with South Africa's stance and its policies in the international stage?
Yes. And also we had our colleagues who met with SAPS. We have opened a docket. We have all the legal details with us, but we just felt it's not to be shared just immediately. And so we're in possession with all the legal papers and documents. We're liaising with BDS Coalition South Africa. And so we are ahead of the process that need to be followed. Although we in Durban, we're tipped off a bit late, and also it doesn't have an impact because the ship hasn't come into our harbor, which is a plus point for us. But what we need to do, and our solidarity activists, uh, in a short period of about an hour and a half, we managed to get more than a thousand meaningful activists join a group for Block the Boat. And this is so encouraging for us to note that this was like, anyone would say a Durban protest, a Durban initiative. We got people also from not just South Africa, but out of Africa asking how can they amplify our voice? How can they take this one step ahead? And so, due to time, we are looking at every way and mean to manage and to see to it that the ship doesn't get into our harbor. We've done this before, we've blocked boats, and we just feel that the strength of our media houses, our journalists, and and everyone else on our social media partners, we need to amplify this. Durban's done this, and now it is your turn as Salam Media and other media houses to amplify and see that how we can continue to block, to divest, to boycott anything and everything from apartheid, genocide, Israel.
Mm, mm, mm. You mentioned something quite important. You know, the fact that it was a cold, risky night last night. If you can just tell us about the people who showed up, the commitment within the community, the atmosphere. What kept you guys going in these conditions? Is there an extra level of responsibility that people in Durban, in the coast, have and feel that they have towards Palestine, especially looking at the harbor in itself and the stopping of some of these ships and vessels and boats that are destined to Israel or are from Israel?
Yes, definitely. What has happened is, I think any city has a family of Palestine solidarity activists. And they pick up the phone, you can rally support. And the people that were with us are our committed members who are on the road every week campaigning on Fridays for Palestine. We also had a special out of the blue campaign at one of the schools in Durban North, where a teacher was teaching Zionism to the learners. And when one of the learners objected and wanted to make correction, the child was not given an opportunity. So we decided when the first day of school this term to protest. And our family was there. And this is what happened last night. We could have rallied more people, but due to the uncertainty of where the ship was, the location, we ourselves didn't know which entry point we should get to, because all these spaces, you need permit, you need some kind of permission to be there. And so with the timing, it was short. But what is also very encouraging, the group of people are now asking, where is the protest? What are we doing? And so on. So getting up this morning with hay fever and that kind of thing because of the weather that we were in yesterday. We are just managing now to put things together. And yes, we are going to have a demonstration, a protest, because that ship is still in our waters. And unless and until it doesn't move, uh, um, we've got a team of people who are doing a live location of the ship, and there's like 5 other ships that are possibly, but we don't know, just passing by or possibly going to be docking at our harbor. So we would like to encourage anyone to amplify our voices. And if there's anything that we need to take into account, but we've taken all actions, legal, administrative, the demonstration part. We've engaged with the service providers, the stakeholders, and a great big team of people. Also, we have our journalists who were with us last night to take the pictures, and the message is gone globally. And so, what we're looking at right now is how do we, as people in Durban, campaign to see that everything that was promised last night, the legal charges, the engagement with the political parties, the engagement with government, how do we see and monitor that the ship carrying weapons, destructiveness, and we've seen globally what arms are doing to innocent lives. And we need to stop this type of movement of arms, ammunitions, and dangerous weapons. So this is what we are going to be sitting down in the next minute or two to identify what our actions will be. And as I mentioned, actions will go on until the ship leaves our waters.
No, definitely. And we're going to, on that note, Saydoon, this is a story that we'll be following quite closely here on Salam Media. And yeah, really brilliant job to you and everyone that came out last night, even though it was really, really cold and the conditions were not that pleasurable.
Thank you very much.
There you go. That was a member of the KZN Palestine Solidarity Forum, Saydoon Sayed. And yeah, I think it's important. But one thing that's concerning is the fact that South Africa has taken Israel to the ICJ, but yet things like this happen. You know, you have cargo docking at our harbors that is destined for Israel, cargo which is military cargo, just to be exact. And it's concerning because it shouldn't even be getting at this point. It shouldn't be activists coming out at night to try and demonstrate and to tell authorities that we have Israeli-bound military ships or cargo that's meant for Israel docking at our harbors. It should be law. It should be government that says from now here, from now going forward, we are not going to allow any Israeli-bound ships, especially those that have military cargo, because it's a contradiction. We are enabling the very thing that we are legally challenging. And that's something that we need to be worried about. People shouldn't be coming out at night when a whole government under the South African flag are saying we are accusing, we are saying there's plausible evidence of a genocide against Israel, but yet we are aiding it in a lot of ways. There's a comment here that's important from Abdul Shabalala. He says, we have dock workers, transport and logistics unions in the country. It's time to mobilize and put our money where our mouth is, so to say. The world is looking up to us and will judge us meticulously. Yes, I agree with you. Definitely, Abdullah, because of how we've positioned ourselves and how we said we're going to lead the charge against Israel at the ICJ when everyone else was quiet. This should be minuscule. We shouldn't even be discussing that there are Israeli-bound ships at our harbors. Makes you question if our government is really walking the talk. We're going to take a quick break, but then after the break is going to be our hashtag Fire Up feature that is with Imran Chunara. He's a personal excellence coach, mentor, and also CEO of Africa Muslims Agency. And today's edition of hashtag Fired Up topic is a very, very interesting one. And I think all of us need to take a listen to it. Today, he'll be talking about making or doing a 10-year timeline when you're planning for a future. I think most of us think maybe 5 years, 3 years. He's saying 10 years. Take a listen. Enjoy.